So it was not. There was no fun. It was not.
And working the telephone.
Why have it in Arizona if you have no free time? I mean, you might as well have it in Atlantic City or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I know. Well, you know what I mean. Why go all the way out to
the other?
Arizona?
By the way, for the folks in California, like the Google guys, it's easy.
Yeah. Do you have any? What's the headline? The lead from the thing.
The lead.
Then
Let me think about it. We'll talk about it after the break.
When we come back, we'll be speaking with former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. Stick around.
When I'm trading, I'm totally focused. And the Street Smart Edge trading platform from Charles Schwab gives me tools that help me find opportunities more easily. I can even access it from the cloud and trade on any computer. And with Schwab Mobile, I can focus on trading any place, anytime, until I choose to focus on something else.
Trade at Charles Schwab for $8.95 a trade. Open an account and trade up to 6 months commission-free online equity trading with a $50,000 deposit. Call 1-800-836-8799.
Each day, our planet awakens with signs of opportunity. But with opportunity comes risk. And to manage this risk, the world turns to CME Group. We help farmers lock in future prices. Banks manage interest rate changes. And airlines hedge fuel costs. All so they can manage their risks and move forward. It's simply a matter of following the signs. They all lead here. CME Group, how the world advances.
2 years ago, the people of BP made a commitment to the Gulf. BP has paid over $23 billion to help those affected and to cover cleanup costs. Today, the beaches in Gulf are open, and many areas are reporting their best tourism seasons in years. And BP's also committed to America. We support nearly 250,000 jobs and invest more here than anywhere else. We're working to fuel America for generations to come. Our commitment has never been stronger.
You are a business pro, monarch of marketing analysis, with the ability to improve ROI through SEO, all by COB. And you rent from National, because only National lets you choose any car in the aisle and go. You can even take a full size or above and still pay the mid-size price.
I'm going BIG.
Good choice, business pro. Good choice. Go National. Go like a pro.
SPDR ETF investors have a precise strategy when they go to the market. Do you? Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Call 1-866-787-2257 for a prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully.
How do you turn an entrepreneur's dream into a scooter that talks to the cloud? Or turn 30 million artifacts into a high-tech masterpiece? Whatever your business challenge, Dell has the technology and services to help you solve it.
Energy, economy, employment, issues for America, but for one state, the key to prosperity. See how Ohio is booming, plus a special edition of Mad Money, how the Buckeye State is bucking the trend. Invest in America, tomorrow on CNBC.
This is a waste.
You want Ecto no?
Yeah. You're not allowed to go next. You don't have anything. What was the...
You just explained what was happening with Larry Summers. That was pretty good.
Dr. No. Good morning, and welcome back to Squawk Box here on CNBC. I'm Joe Kernan, along with Becky Quick and Andrew Ross Sorkin. One lousy, icy margarita, that was it? That was your fun for 2 days?
That was my fun.
When you go on these junkets, it's work, work, work.
Oh,
It's not,
well, then show us the
18 hours
fruits
a
of
day.
your labor. What do you have for us?
He was on the phone with us yesterday morning.
You could have done that in person here. You're not going next year. U.S. equity futures.
He just talked about great robots he's going to get here on set for us.
Equity
We'll get you
futures.
some cool stuff.
Okay, here's my point. Here's my point to both of you doubting Andrews and Becky's. We are up 16% now in the S&P after these great beginning of the week when we weren't supposed to have a good weekend. I don't know whether it's QE3 or the European worries actually dissipating a little bit, but we've got time.
Well, it's been some decent earnings numbers that have come through, too.
Yes,
that's
that
part
too.
Of what's been
right.
happening.
But
in fact, real quickly, can I just tell you BlackRock out?
Yep.
Well,
with earnings real quickly.
We started
365 versus 331.
So it's good.
Yep.
We started at 1257 at the beginning of the year on the S&P. We're now 1454. The magic number.
There.
The magic number 1634. I've got less than 200.
That's the Kernan magic number.
Yeah, that's a magic number for 30%.
You can give it to Barron's if you want with the 15,000. Right?
Yeah. There's BlackRock. And BlackRock would obviously benefit from
Larry Fink having a nice morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 365 versus 331. So that is a beat. We've been looking at some of these numbers that have been coming in better than expected, and you could certainly put BlackRock in that camp.
And it's weird because in the old days we would talk about Merrill Lynch or.
This is the new.
They're all gone.
But BlackRock is the new Merrill.
It's now BlackRock.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, it's been.
And people talk about Larry Fink as potentially a Treasury Secretary.
33.
A Treasury Secretary
coming on the show.
Right 33 billion, yeah, right. With Larry, I've decided he definitely, I think, has something waiting for him. Because to still stay loyal when every other Wall Street guy has said, forget it, I'm not hanging out with you guys anymore. Every other one is gone. For Larry to just stubbornly not find religion.
You're talking about Larry Fink, not Larry Summers.
Right. Larry Fink.
Yes.
Is Larry Summers coming?
Is right here.
Right now.
Yeah,
I love him.
Wait.
We're golf buddies. Where is he?
Yeah, he's going to join us via satellite.
All right. Oh, via satellite.
Via satellite, he's here.
Okay.
In fact, our newsmaker of the morning, Larry Summers, he is the former Treasury Secretary, and he's also the Charles W. Eliot University Professor at Harvard. And Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you, Becky.
Pretty good swing.
Great to see you.
Pretty good swing. Maybe he spends a little too much time playing golf, I think. I don't know. Larry, what's your handicap now? You're pretty good.
Not like you. Not like you. I'm working teaching my students. You're off with all your business pals. I'm just working with my students.
No one wants to cop to a low handicap anymore. You can't. All right.
It doesn't sound great.
I got very little danger of that.
Larry, you've been writing an awful lot and talking. The press has been picking up some of your comments about what you've been saying about the fiscal cliff and what it means for the global economy. How big of a problem is this?
Oh, look, we could take a situation which is an economy that's starting to turn, that's got the prospects of a real recovery, and blow it if we go over that fiscal cliff. If we let everything rip, it would be an act of huge irresponsibility that would make a return to recession very likely. It would be a huge mistake. We need to be moving forward. That means making sure that we're driving the economy in the short run so that it grows, because that's what's most important for the country and ultimately for our financial position, and that we put in place a credible plan that puts the country on a fiscal track where revenues and expenditures are in some kind of balance. That's why I frankly found some of what I heard in the debate from the president's opponent so troubling last night.
Neither of them brought up the fiscal cliff ever, which is a little stunning.
No, they didn't bring up. No, they didn't bring up the immediate legislative question, and that is obviously a hugely important question for whoever is elected. But the president certainly did bring up the $8 trillion question, which is, how's Governor Romney going to cut taxes by 20% on all taxpayers like he promised, spend $2 trillion more on defense, and carry through on the higher income tax cuts that President Bush talked about? Where's that $8 trillion going to come from without blowing up the deficit or hammering the middle class? It's all very well to say you have a principle, which is you won't raise taxes on the middle class, but if you've got $8 trillion to fund, there's no other way. And in fact, you saw something last night that I think was interesting and that people should pick up on, which is Governor Romney shifted the debate to talking about the upper 5% of taxpayers. Now, that's all taxpayers with incomes above about $100,000. That includes a teacher married to a policeman. And that's the group that may end up having to pay more. And even the group below that, if you're going to fund all of $8 trillion. That is not the way to push this economy forward. The way to push this economy forward is by building the prosperity from the ground up, by working to support the middle class, whether it's making sure that people don't have to stop spending with fear that they're going to lose their health insurance, whether it's making sure that all workers, women, all workers get paid in a fair way, whether it's making sure that we're having adequate investment in rebuilding the country at a time when the interest rate is lower than it's been in 2 generations, at a time when construction unemployment approaches 15%, can that be the moment to be slashing infrastructure spending across the country?
Although
I don't think so, and the president's been trying to reverse that.
You just brought up a point that I hadn't realized, that 5% that he was talking about, the upper 5%, I didn't realize that included everybody who was making $100,000 and up, and maybe that's the answer on how he ends up paying for all of these things is taxes he promised would not go down for anybody in that upper 5%. So maybe that means he's eventually looking at potentially raising taxes for anybody above that.
He also mentioned $200,000 as
yeah, there were a bunch of numbers.
There was a number where he said
there were a bunch of numbers.
That he wanted taxes to go down. Anyone who was making less than $200,000, he was going to lower their taxes, right?
Well, that's what he said, but he also emphasized what was happening for the top 5%, and if you read the studies that have come out from his campaign advisors, they were only able to make the arithmetic start to work by talking about people with incomes over $100,000. So, look, I think that what Governor Romney needs to do, and frankly what I think reporters like you need to be asking, is how's this add up? The president has to put forward a budget. That budget is reviewed by the Congressional Budget Office. It's reviewed by the Joint Tax Committee. The numbers are all there. You can discuss it. You can debate it. Governor Romney, no one's audited that.
Larry,
the people who've tried, it really doesn't work.
Do you now think that all the Bush tax cuts, except at the high end, were good then? I mean, if we never reverse any of the Bush tax cuts on people below $250,000, it sounds like all of a sudden you've adopted that as that it must have been good policy, since we can never raise taxes again on anyone under $250,000.
This isn't the time to be raising taxes on people with incomes above below $250,000 with the degree of vulnerability that is still in our economy. We can make substantial fiscal progress by addressing the long-run challenges of containing healthcare costs, by making an appropriate bipartisan set of adjustments to Social Security, by going after both those with incomes above $250,000 and, frankly, substantial corporate tax abuse. You know, you look at the foreign companies that show up with U.S. companies that show up with the highest profits abroad, and you look where those profits are, they're not in the big countries like China and Germany and Japan. They're in the big tax havens like Luxembourg and Ireland. But that's not how it should be.
With job growth as weak as it is, and it's like, I understand what you're saying for under 250,000. I still think you can make the case that it's not a great time, with job growth as weak as it is, to raise it on people above 250. I know we always hear that it's only 2% of the small businesses, but then we hear that 2% of the small businesses employ 2/3 of the workers of small businesses. So they're the most successful of the small businesses and the biggest job creators. I mean, it just seems like if it's not a good time to raise on below 250, it's a weak enough economy where you just start with maybe on the other side, on the spending side, and don't do anything on the tax side at this point.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem, Joe. We've got to put in place a plan that gets our spending and our revenues in some kind of balance. Mm-hmm. If we could find enough wasteful spending, we'd all prefer to do that. I don't think we're going to be able to do that without slashing spending in ways that are very dangerous, the kind of thing that's in the sequester, in what will happen if nothing's done about the fiscal cliff that would do real damage to our national defense. And look, let's have some perspective here. Small business has, over the decades, done pretty well. When Ronald Reagan was president for his first 6 years, we had the Reagan recovery that Governor Romney talked about. Top tax rates then were 50%.